Alright, how's it going, guys? This is my full review of the Sony PlayStation 4. I was going to do this in a video, but I figured this way might be better. I will not have a size comparison. I was originally going to do one with the original Xbox, but it's not much of a comparison because that console is over 10 years older than this, and so it's not much of a comparison. When the review of this controller went up about a week ago. I don't know when yet. I recorded it last night, but I haven't actually done anything with it yet. And so, yeah, so let's get on to the actual box itself. It's pretty, the start time is like the boot time from completely off to on to this, like the home screen is maybe 10-15 seconds. Pretty quick. It launches apps pretty quick, joins Battlefield 4 servers pretty quick, and has a little bit of lag sometimes. I do use Ethernet. You can use Wi-Fi, but personally I think the Ethernet is a lot better. Alright, so let's start with the front. I'm just going to give you like a little walk around of it, and then I will actually go into like the tech specifications, like just the specifications of it, like what processor it has, how much RAM, and all that good stuff. And then I'll get into nerdy stuff like that. Alright, so up here you have a touch sensitive power button, so you can't push it in, just like hit it with your finger, or you can swipe it like that, or just like touch it. And then this is actually the power button on top, and then this is to eject a disc that is in there. It actually has Battlefield 4 in it right now. And then right here we have a nice PS4 symbol. Alright, so then it is a super nice parallelogram shape. The only things that we really have on the front are a disk drive and then 2 USB ports. I actually haven't figured out if those are USB 2.0 or 3.0, but I will cover that in the specs guide towards the end of the video. My favorite feature of how this PlayStation 4 looks is the parallelogram shape. I just think it looks really good. Like from the back, it is just pretty sexy. The gloss over here it's plastic, and once again plastic over here with a nice PlayStation sign over on the gloss. Alright, so then it has intake vents all along the side, and then this is where the fans blow out on the back. Pretty hefty cooling system. I don't complain because I'd rather have a really big console than have it overheat like the original Xboxes did. Alright, and then over here we also have some air intakes, as well as just what this thing features. It features Dolby True HD, and I covered that in the unboxing, and it's Blu-ray obviously, as well as the PS3. Alright, so this bar right here where the actual gloss splits from the matte is a light bar. I forget the guidings. I think if it's turning on or off, it's white. If it's blue, you're just regularly playing. And if it is, I'm sorry, I have to look at this. And then if it's orange, then it's in standby. And if there's no light, then obviously it's turned off. The PS4 and Xbox One both are the only two consoles that, well, the Wii U may, but the PS4, the main point of this video, only supports HDMI. It doesn't support analog anymore. So if you have an old CRT TV, the big ones, the big boxy ones on the flat screen, if you don't know what a CRT is, then you cannot use this. You do need an HD TV, so flat screen, whatever you want to call it. And the way it's designed to be put in your entertainment system is like so, because obviously it has the rubber right here so that it doesn't slide. Grippy. But I guess if you really wanted to, you could put it like this. It might reduce the ventilation, but if you do think that looks cooler, I honestly think it looks better just flat. Alright, so here is the specification sheet for you. I do apologize for reading this directly off of a sheet, but I need to make sure I get everything right. So the main processor is it's not a dual core, it's just a single core, or just kidding, it's a single chip, 8 cores. Here, I'll just read this off. A single chip custom processor, CPU, x86 64 AMD Jaguar, and it has 8 cores. The GPU is 1.8 teraflops. Has AMD next gen graphics. Has the memory is GDDR5 8 gigabytes. That is better than the Xbox One. The Xbox One has GDDR3 8 gigabytes, I believe. I'm not reading that off of a sheet. And so I'm not positive on that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. It is not a solid state drive. It has a 500 gigabyte just an optical drive, and I believe about 440 of that is visible. Battlefield 4 itself is a 40 gigabyte download, and so the games do take up quite a bit of space, so I don't think that hard drive is going to last for very long. You may want to upgrade it. It is just a standard 2.5 inch laptop hard drive. I'm not reading that off of this paper, but I'm 99% sure it's just a standard laptop hard drive, so you can replace it with the 2 terabyte or however big you want, 4 terabyte, because if each game is 40 gigabytes and you have about 420 free, you can download, 10 games and then maybe some smaller ones. Alright, so the USBs are indeed 3.0. They are not 2.0, so this controller charges probably in less than an hour. And one more thing, the light on this does sometimes correlate with the light on this, but the light on the controller is more for like what player you are, for example. Continuing on with the specs, most people don't care about this, but the maximum rated power is 250 watts. It's 120 volts at 60 hertz. So if you have 60 hertz in TV world and in like digital media world is the same as frames per second. So the PS4 is indeed 60 frames per second. And I think most standard TVs made in the last 4 years, from like 2008 to 2011, most of them were 30 hertz. But now they're making some like 60 hertz ones, but they are a bit more expensive. But they do help if you're like playing some really high-speed game or something. And so it is obviously it only supports HDMI. I've already mentioned that. And the hottest it can get is 95 degrees Fahrenheit, which that is pretty dang hot. Alright, so now for the controller specs. You probably don't care about this, but it is a lithium battery. It's not just regular old lead, or whatever they make batteries out of. Sorry, I have a brain fart. But it is lithium, and it is rated at 5 volts or 800 milliamps, and the battery capacity is 1000 milliamps. Alright, so now let's move on to the ports in the back. This right here is an auxiliary port. We'll go back to that. This is an Ethernet port. I believe it's 1 gigabit Ethernet, which that's cool, but generally, even if you do pay for 1 gigabit of that speed of Ethernet, generally you're not going to get the full 1 gigabit because that's a gigabyte per second, and just because that's how networks work, so that's cool, I guess. It only does have one HDMI out, kind of what you can expect. And once again, that nice parallelogram shape, and then where you plug the power cord into down here, it's actually pretty hot right now. I just got done playing it like 15 minutes ago. And then it has a digital out or an optical. Try to see what's in there. Let's poke it with this. I don't think it'll work, but yeah, that basically is, to be honest, I actually don't know what the heck that is. I have no idea what that is. It doesn't have any extra USB ports on the back. And so that is kind of, well, it's not bad because you're generally only going to need to charge 2 controllers at once. I guess if you're playing with 4 people, then that could be bad. But the PS3 only had 2 USB ports on front, and I'm not sure how many it had on back. It might not have had any. PS4 is supposedly more powerful than the Xbox One. just because it has the DDR5 instead of DDR3, like the Xbox One. But I think they're both great consoles. Once again, I do prefer the PS4 a little bit over the Xbox One, or else I would have gotten the Xbox One. I would have just coughed up the extra $100. I will have some interface videos once I get a capture card, assuming I can bypass the HDMI protection, HDCP protection, whatever the heck it's called. And yeah, that's my kind of crappy review. If I figure out anything else to add, I'll add it in. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. It wasn't the best made video ever, but it's everything I could think of. The design, it's not too heavy, maybe 3 pounds, 4 or 5 pounds, maybe. Yeah, it's pretty good sized. But once again, the slim models will be a lot smaller. Yeah, so I am glad that they included all those exhaust fans in there because I don't want my sexy little console to overheat. So thanks for watching, and I hope you stay tuned for the next video. We'll have a review of the software up once I get a capture card. It's just too hard to record right now, and I can't really show you, and it's hard to explain. And so basically, like the PS3 software, start up the launch games, or the games that are out so far as of December 12th. But by the time you see this, the game will probably be the same. But it has like Call of Duty Ghosts, Battlefield 4, Killzone Shadowfall, Assassin's Creed 4, and then it just has like a ton of games, and then for the exclusives, Knack, Killzone, I don't know, it has a lot of games. Most people probably know what they are. And so, yeah, it has a pretty good startup line of games. Probably about 10 good ones and then some okay ones. And, yeah, that's it for me. I'll get better.